What is going on, guys? It is Wrestlelamia here, back with another video, and with Wrestlemania 38 just less than 4 weeks away, what twists and turns should fans expect as the road to Wrestlemania continues on the Red brand? Well, join us now as we look at this week's edition of the Red brand, as well as the wildest news stories and rumors you need to know, including Becky Lynch hospitalized, another huge name rumored to be in the Hall of Fame, WWE wanted to shut down this wrestling company, and much more. Be sure to subscribe and hit that notification bell for daily wrestling videos, and follow us on Facebook for exclusive lists. Now, as always, we won't recap the matches, but just look at the good, the bad, and the downright ugly. As always, we start off with the good as number 1, a pay-per-view level match. There's tag team wrestling alive and well on the Red brand. It seems so after last night's pay-per-view quality bout between Raw Tag Team Champions Alpha Academy, RK Bro, and the team of Seth Rollins and Kevin Owens. Not only that, it was the best match in the series between RK Bro and Alpha Academy, a rivalry that has invigorated Raw's moribund tag team division. All 6 wrestlers were putting on a stunning show, but major props to Chad Gable for continuing to shine and improve in the ring. And goddamn, that moonsault into an RKO. Wow. Number 2, KO calls out Steve Austin. Now, after much anticipation and speculation, Kevin Owens has finally opened the door for a match between himself and Stone Cold Steve Austin. While the match itself may not happen, the WWE seems to be heading towards a major confrontation next week, and one which will likely have a major impact on KO and Austin's plans at this year's Showcase of the Immortals. While there hasn't been much build for these two locking horns, we'll take a Steve Austin return any day, whether it's for an appearance or a match. Number 3, Edge goes dark. Edge has embraced his dark side, and we're loving every moment. This isn't the first time that fans have seen Edge dabble in the dark side since his 2020 comeback. For instance, Edge channeled this after Randy Orton nearly ended his comeback, as well as last year when he challenged Roman Reigns. However, Edge has never immersed himself in the darkness like fans saw in last night's Raw, which means fans, and more importantly AJ Styles, have no idea what to expect from him. It's a great persona for Edge, and one that the WWE needs to commit to rather than having Edge turn babyface right after Mania. And number 4, Bron Breakker wows on Raw. A major props to Bron Breakker for a strong showing during last night's tag match between Bron Breakker, Tommaso Ciampa, and the Dirty Dogs. The current NXT champion looked impressive, especially when he showcased his seemingly superhuman strength. This was the kind of display that wows and wins over fans. Given the WWE's incredibly awful history of taking NXT talent and ruining them on Raw, Bron's performance was a sign that perhaps the WWE isn't going to ruin his eventual jump to the main roster. That was the good. What about the bad? Is number 1, trolling with a trope. The WWE took the otherwise strong segment where Kevin Owens called out Steve Austin to appear on the KO show at Wrestlemania 38 and tarnished it by relying on the tired trope of trolling the fans by playing the wrestler's theme song as if the said wrestler was in the house. What's even worse is that the WWE played the music seconds before Raw ended, leading to fans wondering if Owens was trolling the fans or the production truck erred in its timing. Whatever happened, don't let it happen again, as this is one trope that needs to go on hiatus. Number 2, another terrible trope. The WWE was definitely pulling every bad trope it could on Raw as The Miz went to the ever-reliable but also stale trope of bashing the fans' hometown. The Miz and Logan Paul mocked Cleveland, Ohio, as well as Jerry the King Lawler, who was born in Cleveland, as part of the heel promos on the Mysterios, a tactic that was unnecessary considering The Miz's skills at generating heel heat with verbal attacks on his opponents. Judging from the WWE's overuse of tropes, the writing team must have given themselves the night off. Number 3, Rollins left out. Now, WrestleMania is going to be a 2-night event again, so why doesn't the WWE have anything lined up for Seth Rollins? Seth is such an incredible talent who can work equally well in singles and tag team matches. He's a clutch player who can fill in as needed, as seen when he challenged Roman Reigns at this year's Rumble, and someone who knows what buttons to push with the fans to elicit sympathy or hate. Let's hope the WWE doesn't throw the Visionary into a half-baked match with no purpose. Actually, better yet, let's bring in Veer. That should be a hell of a match. Number 4, death of a crowd. Now, we're saddened to report on the death of the crowd during Raw's alleged match between Tamina and Dana Brooke. This is the type of match that sucks the life out of a crowd and has no business on a top show. Notice we didn't say flagship show, as it can hurt the rest of the program. This belongs on main event, or better yet at a live event, so fans can grab some WWE merchandise and snacks whilst the match is being played. Number 5, plugging a dead show. It's often been said that sex sells, but last night's segment where Carmella abandoned Queen Zelina in order to get up close and personal with her man Corey Graves was awful, particularly since the WWE is adopting a new gimmick for Carmella and Corey, a couple whose public displays of affection are just one sign of their horniness. Fans expecting an endgame in the ring shouldn't hold their breath, as the WWE appears to have devised this angle in order to hype Carmella and Corey's YouTube series, which looks to be on its way to a fast demise. There was nothing downright ugly about last night's show, as the WWE continued the build up to WrestleMania with some strong segments and also featured one hell of a good tag team match. One thing that we're concerned about is the lack of the WWE Champion, as it's another warning sign that WWE's title unification could be bad news for fans expecting to see regular appearances by the World Champion on both Raw and SmackDown. What you guys think of Raw last night? Let us know in the comments down below. Now let's move on to the news. Now, first story looks at Becky Lynch being injured. Atop the news today is a shocking story of Becky Lynch's broken voice box. The current Raw Women's Champion was working a live event with Bianca Belair when Belair accidentally struck her in the throat. A fan uploaded a video of the spot and it shows Big Time Bex continuing the match, even taking a KOD after the scary spot. Lynch wasted no time incorporating the injury into her current storyline with the EST, posting the following on Instagram. Unfortunately, I will not be at Raw tonight. Not only did Bianca whip me mercilessly with the illegal weapon that is her hair last week, but last night in the main event of WWE Allentown, she tried to take away my biggest weapon, the spoken word, by fracturing my voice box. She can't keep me down that easily. I'll be coming for her next week. You can't spell Wrestlemania without I. Now, Lynch said she'll be back on next week's edition of Raw, and we send our heartfelt wishes for her fast and full recovery. Next up, will Stone Cold appear at WrestleMania? While he's expected to be there, no match has been confirmed though, as it's still believed the WWE wants him to work a match, and if not, to do more than just make an appearance. Austin has repeatedly stated he has no desire to wrestle unless he can give the fans everything he and they expect. Well, WWE posted Austin's reply, and he's accepted. Whether Austin fights or not, who cares? Come on, it's Steve Austin at WrestleMania. That's the best thing ever. Next up, WWE wanted to shut down a wrestling company. And now that Tony Khan has purchased Ring of Honor, there's all sorts of talk and speculation about what's next for the highly influential promotion. One detail that's emerging is that apparently the WWE was interested in buying Ring of Honor back in 2018, but the folks in Titanland had no intention of continuing the promotion. Meltzer noted in this week's Observer, WWE did have talks with Ring of Honor management when Ring of Honor was at its peak of popularity with the Young Bucks about purchasing the company, but the idea was to shut down the company and really just purchase the tape library, which had early matches of many WWE top stars like Kevin Owens as Kevin Steen, Sami Zayn as El Generico, Seth Rollins as Tyler Black, Daniel Bryan under his real name, Cesaro under his real name, and many others. As Ring of Honor fans know, many acclaimed stars worked their way up during their time in Ring of Honor, which Meltzer said could have been a goldmine for the WWE network and a deal with the pesky promotion competing with NXT. The idea at the time was to get the valuable library and use it on WWE Network and for documentaries, and shut down the company because at the time Ring of Honor and NXT were battling over the hardcore fans and even going head to head in markets, and in places Ring of Honor was beating NXT even with NXT's advantage of being part of WWE and more advertising. But NXT did have an edge of better talent and the New Japan affiliation, which in 2018 meant a lot. The idea would be to eliminate NXT's biggest competition for the hardcore fan base while picking up a valuable library, but the deal was never completed. Past Ring of Honor did make a deal to allow WWE some usage of their footage for WWE projects. As for Tony Khan's plans for Ring of Honor, Ringside News reported, "We've been told that Ring of Honor's Supercard of Honor is still taking place. TV tapings too. We were told that the TV is working out a deal, not Sinclair. There's no deal right now, but tapings will be held and it's believed it'll be on TNT or really any Turner channel." And we think it's prudent for Ring of Honor fans to wait for an official announcement before reserving their seats for any Ring of Honor events. And finally, another huge Hall of Fame inductee. Last but not least, Andrew Zarian is tweeting another possible inductee into this year's WWE Hall of Fame, and it's a big one. Hearing Sid will be inducted into this year's Hall of Fame. Do you think he belongs there? Let us know in the comments down below, and I'll see you next time with some more wrestling content.